From other Gospels, we know that sitting the divine curriculum takes work. The blind man, whose healing required 2 touches from Jesus, was said to only be healed when he looked intently. Aversion responses contain divine lessons, but we often have to direct our attention with the gentle muscles of virtue to see them. In terms of seeing, hearing, and feeling, there's a 3-step need to ante up, attend to what's important, and anticipate. Anteing up is coming basically out of denial. Attending to what's important is mustering enough attention and intention to sort through sensory overwhelm. This involves a great deal of letting go. And anticipation is intentionally listening, seeing, and feeling when no outside stimulus forces you to do so. The journey of anteing up, attending to what's important, and anticipating necessarily goes within. Ego is a constant state of denial and addiction to sensory information. Departing from it wakes us up to all manner of compulsions, and those fundamentally compromise our ability to be where we are, to see, hear, and feel things as they are. We know this experientially. If at the end of a workday we remain blazingly mad at coworkers about unresolved conflicts, chances are higher that we'll crash our cars on the way home. The people in John 7 were kicking around opinions. Is Jesus the prophet who will precede the Messiah? Is Jesus the Messiah himself? Is Jesus' message healthy enough to warrant our attention, or is it a deceit of the crowds? Should we kill them, as a few high-ranking officials wish to do, or wait and judge the tree by its fruit, as Nicodemus advised the people to do? The martyrdom of life is this, and I say this with a great deal of love and compassion. Ourselves, with all of their opinions, these conceal too much judgment, ego, craving, clinging, and attachment to lead reliably to humility. What if honest grief were the fruit of everything you are, everything you think, everything you perceive? If rest and increased speed at letting go were the only fruit of honest grief, would the tears be okay? I mean, could you allow them? The crowd in John 7 echoes our mind. It craves things it's attracted to, pushes away what it's averse to, and evaluates based on that. The teacher's call, though, is a call to everything, whether we like it or not. This call to everything is synonymous with seeking the glory of him who sent Jesus. If we can accept everything and learn to adjust to life whether we like it or not, we will be just as true as the one of whom it said, there is nothing false in him. Jesus says, my teaching is not mine, but it is his who sent me. In other words, Jesus is not just taking teachings from experiences that appeal to him, the way we, with our superegoic plans for spirituality, so often do. He's taking teachings from everything. In John 5, Jesus says, you refuse to come to me to have life. He didn't say good or pleasurable life. He just said life. And when we're alone in our rooms, we ask, who and where is the me to whom we have to come for life? The only candidate for that is ourselves. And coming to ourselves can be quite unflattering. Here and now, what we're being prepared for is this. Christ's freedom is equanimity. We'll talk about this a bit later. There's a great perspective shift that happens as the Spirit ascends within us, climbing the spine like the angels climbed Jacob's ladder. Every sensation, painful or pleasurable, conceals core beliefs that may need voluntary reframing. At the base of the spine, our innate sense that life is a crisis whispers fairly insistently. But sitting still exposes a range of choices, even in crisis, and letting go of self entirely shows it to be an opportunity. From the sacral chakra at the groin area, our attachment to attraction and pleasure seems so otherworldly sentient that the Desert Fathers called it a demon. But we sit with it until we realize that aversion and pain contain divine presence as well. From the solar plexus, just above the belly button, we see how tremendous the volume of judgment we've yet to let go of. Finally surrendering it, we suspend judgment not only of others, but also of ourselves. At the heart chakra, we see people's failure to suffice our legitimate needs, and we sit till it becomes compassion. The letting go is itself an admission that we're all crucified together. We say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do, because it's the case with us as well. The teacher says, let anyone who is thirsty come to me, and let the one who believes in me drink. As the scripture has said, out of the believer's heart shall come living water. Selfish desire does have a good result that isn't fulfillment. Crucified by paradox, the self that clings to righteousness is gently, deeply unseated, enough to weep instead of angling for control. The gospel of the way things are scatters our pride, increases patience with God, grows our ability to use the body for grounding and letting go instead of clinging. Watch the phrase, where I am, you cannot come. It pops up in verse 34. We'll see it once in chapter 8 and again in chapter 13. Besides let go of mind, there's an elimination of subject-object dualism that's very much in store for all students of the teacher. In The Gateless Gate, one of several classic koan collections, Case 38 says, enlightenment is like an ox that passes through a latticed window. Its head, horns, and 4 legs all pass through. So why can't its tail also pass through? Whatever further work this koan does, it at least blurs the lines between the observer and the observed. Remember that in John's gospel, Jesus began by saying, come and see. He continued by calling into question who it is we're coming to and what fuels our seeing. At the very least, it leaves us wondering what the identity of the beholder will be like in the end. Let's prepare ourselves, though. As chapter 7 opened, Jesus' disciples said, no one who wants to be widely known acts in secret. Jesus goes to the festival in secret nonetheless, and it hints at his preferred mode of teaching. We're engaged in asking the kinds of questions to which answers can't be found without allowing what's background to come to the fore. If we're asked, who are you? And our most honest answer is a fairly anguished, I don't know. That might be the rule instead of the exception. What kind of beholder is left when all the striving to see ends? The exhortation from the start of the gospel holds true here. Come and see. I would suggest that we listen until the whole body, until our entire mind and heart both open like an ear. Remember that koans are logical questions that force us to deal with our fears of being wrong and often have nonverbal answers. To close, here's a Christian koan after the style of St. Paul. If the whole body were an ear, where would the seeing be? There's a real answer to that. If you want to let me know what you think it is in the comments, knock yourself out. But if you already know how it would be better to answer, blessed art thou, and stuff, may we both be on the way.